So we're going to work through these problems on the review. First off, this is going to be pretty fast. So I'm not going to re-explain everything. I'm just going to kind of talk through what you already know. So in this first problem, we would take the numbers, the numbers in the front, the coefficients, and multiply them. That would give me negative 117. Then we have x cubed. We add the exponents for the y's, so that's y to the 7th. There is no sort of distribution like this or anything, so don't be doing that because there's no addition or subtraction in those two terms that are getting multiplied. The next one is binomials to powers. So when I see a binomial, there's subtraction, so it's a binomial squared. I need to write it twice and then distribute. So unlike the last problem where we just had monomials, now I am going to distribute. So here's my first term, and I'm distributing it to the first term in the second parentheses. So that's 4, add the exponents when we're multiplying, so that's x to the 8th. Then we're going to take that first term and distribute it to the second term. So this can help. Write a negative 1 in here. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. X to the 4th, y to the 5th. Now we're going to take our second term in our first parentheses and distribute it. Once again, that 1 can help. 1y to the 5th, negative 1y to the 5th. So I'm going to have another negative 2x to the 4th, y to the 5th. I'm running out of room, so I'll write this down here. Negative 1 times negative 1 is 1. So we have plus 1, add the exponents to the 10th. So now I need to combine like terms. In this problem, that means I'm adding these two together. So I still have the 4x to the 8th. Negative 2 plus negative 2 is negative 4. X to the 4th, y to the 5th. Plus 1y to the 10th, or I can just write y to the 10th. The ones you can leave them, they're just for help. So that's my final answer. None of those three are like terms because they do not have the same variables or exponents on those variables either. The next one is a linear equation to solve. So I'm going to distribute first, giving me negative 10x minus 5 minus 2x minus 2 equals 17. Then we'll combine like terms. So this gives me a negative 12x minus 7 equals 17. Add 7 to both sides, giving me negative 12x equals 24. Divide, and I get x equals negative 2. The next couple questions have to do with graphs and functions and one-to-one functions. So I am going to view this and zoom, I don't know, maybe 75% that we can see the whole question. So it asks if it's a function, not a function, one-to-one function. This graph, at any point, if I draw a vertical line, it only crosses through once. And if you click, see the answer, Delta Math has a really nice example where that vertical line is moving across the page, which is helpful to see too. I can't really do that myself. So that means, yes, it is a function. When I go this way, though, it touches in 2 spots, so that is not 1, 2, 1. Okay, passes vertical line test, but not horizontal line test. So function, but not one-to-one. The next one, we could go to the Desmos calculator. I am just going to go back to my normal Zoom. I have a million windows open, so I'm going to need to get back to my Desmos calculator, which I do still have here. So from here, I'm going to X out my last graph. I'm going to kind of move this over so I can see it better. And we'll look at what each of those functions is. So the first one I want to see is negative 5 times 2.1 to the x. Oops. Come on, Desmos. Oh, I just sorry about that, guys. So the x plus 2. So when I look at this graph, I see that exponential graph, I see that it passes the vertical and the horizontal line test. I'm looking for the one that's not one-to-one. So I am going to move down to R of x now. So I have x to the third minus 2 divided by, oops, so I forgot to move out of my parentheses there. So I'm going to move out and then type divided by 2. So that shows that whole thing is the numerator. This one also looks good. It kind of looks like it might not pass the horizontal line test here, but that does slowly increase through that section. So that one is also one-to-one. My next one is absolute value of 3x minus 3. And that's how you do absolute value plus 8. This one fails that horizontal line test. So I can tell that's my answer. The last one I'm not even going to check because it's an mx plus b, so I know it's a line, so I know that is going to be one-to-one. So back to my packet. I can see that this is the one that is not a one-to-one function. The next one is a graph, and we want to find f of 3. We know that this is denoted as f of x. So 3 is in the spot where x is, which tells me that when I look for f of 3, I know the x is 3, and I'm looking for my y value. So I go on my x-axis over to 3, and I go up or down to find my y, basically just finding the point. Sorry, my smart word's a little bit off. So that point is 3, 2. So that means the answer to this, what is the value of f of 3? That value is 2. So moving on to the next one. This is almost the same type of question, except now I see that I have f of x equals e. We see that f of x is equal to y. So this is the y value. So I know the y is negative 8, and I'm looking for that x. So now I'm going to go to negative 8 on the y-axis, which is right here, and I'm going to go back and forth till I find that graph. So looking at this, that's the point positive 8, negative 8. That's the number I fill in. So the answer to this, the value of x that makes f of x equal to negative 8 or y equal to negative 8 is 8. So I'm going to stop the video here. I'm going to make a second video with some more problems.